Good morning and welcome to the weekly mortgage market update. Please let me introduce the immediate past president of CAMP, Ms. Audrey Boytsnow.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. We're so glad you joined us today. A big thank you to Megan Jackson, who runs the back end of things for us and make sure our technology is working. And our president, Kevin Casey, is traveling and couldn't join us today, so we miss him. I just want to say thank you, as always, to Megan Anderson and Barry for joining us. But a few reminders before we get going. First of all, always please join CAMP. We need your membership. We need your voice in Washington, D.C. and Sacramento when we go visit our legislators. And let me tell you, there's a lot going on these days. So it's really important that you're a part of that. As always, we are happy to field your questions. So put them through the chat box, and once Barry is done with his comments, we will have a discussion and take your questions. Things are a little wild on the East Coast right now. So the power was out, there's storms a brewing, so everyone's MacGyvering this morning, right? And Megan and Barry have still shown up. I want to take a moment and say a big congratulations to Megan Anderson, who is one of the top most influential women in mortgage industry per Housing Wire magazine. So it's wonderful, Megan. Congratulations. So with no further ado, let's get this going. And Barry and Megan, thank you. Barry, take it away.
Well, you know, I'm so glad you mentioned that. And thanks for having us, Audrey. It's really good. It's great to be here with all of you and our friends at CAMP. So first of all, a big hello. And I miss going out there and kind of being able to see you guys in person. But listen, this is the next best thing, I guess, until we get back to a more normal life. I wanted to also say, Megan, you really deserve it. We're all really, really proud of you. And it's very, very well earned. I think that everybody realizes what a gift you are and what a talent you are. With regards to the market, listen, I know you guys are crazy busy, right? So so Megan and I are going to take up a whole lot of your time right now, but I think what we want to try and do is just give you an update on where the market is. And I first want to look at rates with you and see if we can't kind of look at some things that look great, what to watch out for, what the forecast looks like, and overall just give you some thoughts maybe about things like the stock market as well. So Megan and I will talk with you a little bit about that. So with that, I'm going to show my screen here, and let's see if we can't do that. So Megan, I want you to tell me when you could see my screen. Monitor one, can you see that now, or?
I can see the MBS Highway page.
There you go. Okay, that's exactly what we wanted. All right, so mortgage-backed securities, they're up 9 basis points right now, and that's a good thing. Now, we're down a little bit from when pricing came out. Nothing right now to be concerned about, but when you take a look here and you see where mortgage bonds have gone, they've really made a beautiful move higher. I'll just extend this out a little bit more so you can kind of get a view on this. In fact, let me just take this back out towards like the end of last year. And what I really wanted to show you was these little marks above the pricing. That's when we do an alert to lock. So you can see we kind of enjoyed all this huge ride without doing any rate alerts. We didn't lock in for 2 months. And then recently, there has not been a whole lot of rate locks. There's been a rate alert. The last one was the 16th of July, but since then, it's been about 3 weeks, and we've enjoyed this beautiful move higher. And if we zoom in a little bit, you'll be able to see that each time we did an alert to lock, we kind of, last one we did was here, saw this beautiful move up for 2 months, and then we had an alert to lock right before the down move, but we've been floating since the 16th of July. And now I'm a little concerned because of where we are at the present time. You see, where we are right now, we are near I think it's at an important level. And this candle here has me just a bit concerned. When you see a big move like we've had here, it usually means we're in for a breather. Now, I'm not saying that rates turn around and start really rocketing higher, but there could be a period in time here that we could lose a little bit of pricing. And let's face it, even a move down to this floor here at 103.22, you're talking about 51 basis points in price, maybe an eighth, or maybe depending on where the pricing is a little bit more in interest rates. So we just have to play it very carefully here. I'm not saying to rush and lock in, but we've got to be on guard, because if we get some weakness and we break underneath this level here at 103.68, we close under it, to me, it seems like we're due for a pullback towards this 103.21 level. I think that'll be a pretty reasonable ceiling. Certainly the 25-day moving average will be a good floor for us. I meant to say floor, I meant to say floor before and I said ceiling, but this will be a very good floor for us at the 25-day moving average. So these are things.
So guys, give it a minute. They're having issues with power on the East Coast. So talk about a hanging chad. Hopefully, there he goes.
We've got a hurricane going on here.
Yes.
Hopefully everyone's staying safe, and Barry will be back on here shortly.
That's crazy. I just
one thing after another. One thing that we're learning is we just got to roll with the punches at this point in time.
That's all we do, and we're really good at it as an industry. I think we are the most adaptable people on earth. So I was laughing a couple, like, I don't know when it was in COVID years. It seems like 20,000 years ago, but might have been a month or two ago, when this news update popped up on my phone that an asteroid was headed towards Earth that weekend. I'm like, well, of course it is. You know, it didn't hit. I mean, look how lucky we are.
Look how lucky we are. Hopefully we catch a break here going into next year.
I know. I have a client who's like, maybe this year will end up better than it started. And I'm like, maybe, God, please hope so, from your mouth to God's ear. So
I love it.
I wonder how he's doing. Do you think his power went out?
Yeah, let me reach out to him really quick. Hold on, everybody.
Sorry about this, guys. It is 2020 after all, so we have to expect things like that.
Barry is logging back in, so he'll be here shortly. But in the meantime, you know, we might as well tease a little bit. You know, I'll be back with all of you on Thursday.
Yes.
So I'm really excited about that.
Yes, the title for Thursday is increasing lead conversion with social video. So as we have all become accustomed to video, or some of us have become accustomed to video and are ready to take it to the next level, here we are. So, and just to continue on this note until Barry joins us, Dave Luna will be back with us next Tuesday at 11 for our industry update. So we're doing these weekly, Megan, and we keep asking whether our listeners are done with them, and the answer is a resounding no. So we keep on going. So.
Well, good. We appreciate you guys. And I mean, by all means, if you guys have any, you know, social media questions or video questions, go ahead and ask them right now. I'll address, you know, some before Barry gets on here, and then I will also make sure to cover that on Thursday. But I do just want to say that if you guys haven't been doing social video, I think that COVID has really gotten us all in a place where we're really ready to begin implementation, and we realize, oh man, I probably should have started with that back when everyone was telling me to do so. So we're going to help you guys get there on Thursday.
Yes, that'll be great.
Yes, and Barry will show it too, but we do have a tool in MBS Highway that's really powerful and helpful for this called Social Studio, which essentially turns your computer screen into a teleprompter. And we already have scripts in there for you as well. So I know a lot of you, just from talking to you, you know, I don't know what to say when I do video. I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I sound. And we have to get past that point of what we look like, what we sound like, but past that, we have a lot of content in there to help you in getting comfortable with creating these videos. And that's really the first step, is to get comfortable. And then from there, we can start to talk about, you know, well, how can I utilize these videos to better generate and convert leads?
Yeah, no, I appreciate all of your pointers always. I've said a few times that I came to video kicking and screaming. When we started doing these updates in March, I wouldn't get on video. I wouldn't. I was the voice, but I was not on the screen. And so finally, after much persuasion, shall we say, here we are. And so if I can do it, anybody can do this. Anyone. So with your
It's true.
guidance, it's even better, Megan.
Oh, I appreciate that. And I know we got a question over here from Bill. I just want to mention this too, and I'll put it out there to everybody. But if you guys are interested in learning more about MBS Highway, or, you know, at the end, you guys do get a discount being through camp, just reach out to me. I'll take care of you. It's Megan, MEGAN @mbshighway.com.
Why don't we take a few minutes at the end of Thursday's program and do a little recap of MBS Highway so that we give everyone the opportunity to have you walk them through it.
Of course, yes, by all means.
Great.
And I know
Great.
refinances are hot right now, so we'll go over a lot of tools to help with refinancing and helping get those clients to where they need to be. And I just want to remind you guys, during this crazy time, you're in such a great position to be able to make such a big difference. And I just want to commend all of you on that. I know in the media realm, we've been, you know, thanking doctors and healthcare workers, and I don't want to take that away from them. They have been there through all of this and helping us tremendously. But I just want to say that you guys, you deserve a pat on the back, because you're here and you're helping people, whether it's restructuring their debt, helping mitigate their fears of getting in more debt right now, helping them finally remodel that bathroom because they finally have time, but they didn't have the money to do so, helping save families from arguing every single morning, whatever the case may be, helping them reach financial freedom. And that's not to be taken lightly. And I hope that each and every one of you just takes a second to really appreciate where you're at and what it is that you're doing within this space.
Yeah, that is absolutely correct.
And Barry said his internet is down.
Can he call in?
Let me find out. I'm going to give him a ring really quick.
Great. Thanks, Megan. In the meantime, guys, we appreciate you hanging in there. Apologize. It's kind of par for the course in 2020, don't you think? So just a few things while we're waiting. Number one, there's a lot going on at the GA level. Interesting to note that with all of the assistance for the extra unemployment assistance that ended last week, and they still haven't come up with more stimulus. All of that is being battled in Washington, D.C. right now. We have, you know, eviction protections that are ending, but those things are going to come back. And we are definitely watching at the state level a number of things. There is a push definitely to protect tenants especially, which we have to be careful of, simply because when you're protecting tenants, you have to make sure you're not hurting the landowners, the landlords in the process. So we are constantly a voice saying, hey, you've got to do something for these landlords who may or may not have any other way to make their mortgage payments too. So there is more to all of this than what is on the surface, and we're always looking for places to be a voice. So there's a question here: can a licensed real estate agent quote rates, or do they need a loan license? I believe that if you have a real estate license, you're allowed to quote rates. We'll definitely need to check on that. I have seen realtors do it. They don't do it well. You know, you have to remember that you have to, you know, be giving APRs and a few little things like that. So I think that they could do it if they did it legally. But that's a great question, because I don't know the answer to it. I don't think you have to have it. I think, yeah, especially in California, because we have unique licensing here. I think we're the only state in the country that has DRE and DBO, and we have two ways of doing things. So we'll circle back to that. How's it looking, Megan?
He's trying to join, but if you guys are okay with it, I'll share my screen and I'll start to attempt to dive into Barry's content for him.
That sounds great. By all means.
Okay. Let me just figure out here how to share my screen. Okay, perfect. All right.
I'm amazed at the people hanging in there. Thank you guys.
Yes, thank you guys so much. It's just the story of 2020 right now. All right, so I should be able to share my screen now. Potentially. Here we go. Okay, can you guys see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so first off, I just want to mention that Barry is coming out with a book. This is a really motivating and empowering book. I've cried a few times while reading this. You guys can get it on Amazon, and I can post the link as well, but it's pre-ordered right now, so go ahead and get Barry's book, Money in the Streets. Now, I first want to start talking about how people are waiting longer to get married. You know, I think with life expectancy continuing to rise, we're not so much in a rush, and the world has definitely changed from where we were, and people are just waiting longer to get married, which in turn, as we know, if people are waiting longer to get married, well, what's the next big step? Well, they're going to wait longer to have children, and we have come to find out that children are a major driving factor when it comes to actually moving forward with purchasing that single family home. We've also found in the data that it doesn't seem to change too much home ownership rates depending on if they have more than one child, but a child is definitely a major driving force to ultimately purchasing that home. And when we go ahead and we Google search baby registry, we see that this has gone up exponentially over the years. And I assume as we're all coming out of lockdown, this is probably going to come up even more. You know, you can only do so much while in lockdown. So I'm sure that we're going to have a booming economy here and more people coming into the market, as we can tell when we look at Google searches. And another thing that is happening, and we all know this, we've heard it in the media, is that people are shifting from these highly dense populated areas into more suburban exurbs kind of areas. And we've seen, you know, places, my mom is actually an originator in Wyoming, and it's blowing her mind right now how many people are coming in purchasing their second homes, their vacation homes in places like Wyoming. And we see this all over the place. And it's important that we understand what is going on currently in the market for multiple reasons. One, so that we know how to talk to those clients, but two, as you'll see on Thursday, when we start to talk about creating videos and really engaging those individuals, it's really important that you know where the market is at right now and where it's headed.
By the way, I'm back, Megan.
Oh, perfect.
Welcome back, Barry.
Thank you.
Thanks for nothing, Isaiah.
Thank you. I'll tell you what, I'm so sorry, guys. You know, it just, and then you have to wait for the power to come back, and then you have to wait for your internet to kind of boot back up. So I'm so sorry. I feel awful.
Don't feel awful. It is what it is. Like, this is, we were just talking about how adaptable we all are. We roll with the punches. We figure out how to make it work. You get logged off, you log back in, whatever. So just take it away. We're so appreciative that you're here. So go ahead.
All right, Megan, maybe if you want to just make me the presenter, I'll just jump right back in the best I can here. We'll just run through this
Got
stuff.
it. And just so you know, I got to slide 6.
Well, look at you. All right, so where are you? Right here?
Yep.
Yeah, I got to young adults drive homeownership.
Okay, so young adults driving home ownership. Can you see the screen?
Yes,
Megan?
we can.
Okay, good. All right, so hey team, the action is in people that are under 35. That's where all the action is right now, as far as people moving. People that are in this demographic want out of apartments, they want more space, they want more distance. And individuals that are a little bit older than that, that are established, while they do move, they don't move as frequently. How many times do they move within a 12-year period? Let's take a look at that together. So if you are under 35, in a 12-year period, you're gonna move 4 times. If you're over 50, you'll probably move once in a 12-year period. So what you want to try and do is you want to try and make sure you focus on this, which means that you have to focus on Instagram. Megan's gonna go over that with you. And when we take a look at the future and where things look like they're headed, The demographics are really, really favorable. We pay close attention to demographics because they're so on point and so on target. So when we take a look at demographics here, and I'm just going to try and preserve bandwidth, so I'm going to just go quickly. The median age of a first-time homebuyer is 33, which means they were born right here between 1986 and 1987. And if you look at the next 5 years, birth rates just continue to go up. This tells us that in the next 5 years, many people will be, so to speak, turning the lights on, getting a property or getting either an apartment or a home. They will get their own dwelling for the first time. So that initial time that they move into something is a very, very good determinant in how things look for the housing market. So when you take a look at the housing bubble, it was forecasted. When we forecasted it, we looked at these things because if you take a look here, the housing bubble happened in 2006. So go back 33 years before that, 1973 right here. Look at the huge drop off in birth rates. That's because in January 1973, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of abortions being legal. So birth rates dropped. They stayed low for a while before they started coming back. And then 33 years later to 2006, you got a housing bubble because you have an imbalance. Because back then you could see 2002, 3, 4, 5, similar amount of households being formed in blue to the amount of buildings that were put up by builders. But in 2006, you take a look here and you see the drop off just like you saw because of abortions being legalized in 2006, but builders didn't pay any mind to it. So you had a big imbalance. Now what we're looking at is the reverse. You are looking at right now, up in the blue line here, households being formed, but builders have been lagging. They haven't been keeping up. Team, remember, everything comes down to supply and demand. So if you have more demand than there have supply, prices go up. It's that simple. And if you take a look at this, it looks like a hand in glove. Look at this pattern. This step ladder down, stays down, starts to go up, and then the future, it goes up. Look at this. Step ladder down, stays down, goes up, and the future, it's going to continue to go up. Now, this gold bars, that's builders. They're not going to keep up. Why? Well, look what happened. Look what COVID did. First of all, they were behind, but they were starting to grow since 2010, new construction. But look at what COVID did. Huge setback. They're not going to be able to recapture this. So what does that mean? It means exactly what you're seeing. You're seeing more people looking to purchase homes than there are homes available. And that's why home prices are going up. There's just no inventory. Inventory is at a record low. And not only is inventory at a record low, vacancies are near record lows. Why are vacancies so important? Because it tells us that people aren't going to be incented to go ahead and drop the price of their home to get rid of it because it's sitting idle. They're living in it. They can kind of deal with it, and they don't have to be pressured to take that lower price. So these are all supportive of prices. Look, I know you've got people right now that are thinking about, well, should I go and bid more for a home? That's the big thing. Look at the metrics. Look at the price to rent ratio. When you take a look, the price is 17 times the rental equivalent. It's going to go up. That means if your rent is $1,000 a month times 12, it's $12,000 a year in rent times 17, $194,000 home value. So a $300,000 home value should rent for about $1,500 a month. But in 2006, it was 24. Look at the equity people have in their homes right now. Tons of equity. People below an 80 LTV, right here. Between 80 and 90, right here. And then when you see the high equity, it's all 0.5%, 1% in these cohorts. Now, look at the housing overviews. 127 million households, 41 million rented, 86 million owned. 34% of 29 million are owned free and clear. 66% have a mortgage. By the way, these numbers are numbers 34%. There's a lot of cash out and a lot of room that you can do for move up. And those who have a mortgage, the average LTV is 53%. The average equity is 177,000. We see home values going up over the next year by about 4% nationwide. California, closer to 5, 5.5, 6%. So you guys are in a good spot. Do not believe CoreLogic. We didn't believe it. They said, oh, over the next year, prices are going to go down 6.6%. We said, baloney. That's never going to happen. So we said, I don't know what you're smoking. We were all over that. Well, guess what? Looks like CoreLogic's been reading our stuff because today they come out with, oops, sorry, we shouldn't have said that. And let's change that and revamp our forecast. They're thinking more flat now. They're still wrong. Home value is going up. Wherever you are, home value is going to go up. Use our real estate report card to illustrate that. And here's the big thing. And Megan, you went through this, right? Go ahead and tell your story, Megan, about when you went to go purchase a home, because everybody can relate to this that is buying a home right now.
Yeah, so I was looking for months in Florida. And aside from the fact that there was low inventory, it was very challenging, as you know, with low inventory to find a home that kind of matched all my needs. And every time I would find a home, I found out that there were multiple offers on that home. So I go and I put in an offer, and I find out there's 4 other offers on the home. So I have to come in above asking price. And it's a weird place to be in because, you know, how much should I come in above asking price? What makes sense? And as Barry mentioned, and as you guys are experiencing right now, inventory is so low nationally in so many areas. And this is a very common challenge that you're having to overcome right now.
Yeah, so let's just use an example. Say the current asking price is $650. So in order to win the home, and that's what it's all about, winning the home, you got to go 20,000 above asking. So that's 670. So maybe the AVM value even comes in less than that. It comes in at 645. So man, that's a big jump to go 20,000 over asking. Should I do it? Well, let's look at the last purchase price and the last purchase date and when it was. So what we're able to do is the last sale date, let's take an intermediate point and where it is today, and that's in that kind of lavender color here that you see. Here's my bid above asking right here. So what I want to know is, based upon this bid above asking, when will the value of the home, both based upon the AVM value and based upon where we are appreciation from the current asking price, when will it cross over what my offer is? And we're able to do that. Now, as you know, all the AVMs, depending on how many comps you can pull, have a level of confidence. So in this, the AVM confidence level is pretty high, 89%. The value to break even based upon AVM, October 2021. Based upon the asking price, probably more accurate, November 2020. Come on, by the time I close on this home, if I close in September, October, I'll have gotten there. So if we show this to the customer, they're going to want to move in and purchase this home. Why? Because they say, look, if I keep looking, I don't find something, I'm already, this ship is going to have sailed. This is such a wonderful tool for realtors. When we put this in beta, realtors that are looking at this are losing their mind. It's like nothing else is like this. This is the exact tool I need. 54% of homes have multiple offers. You got to bid over asking today, and you got to win that deal. I know that you guys know what it's like. Use this tool. It is unbelievable. And by the way, if you don't have an AVM model of your own and people are going to like Zestimate, you need one of your own that you could put up there. Your realtor needs one that they could put on their website. And the problem is that if realtors don't have it, if you don't have it, people start going to Zillow. Zillow's your competitor, and all their advertisers are your competitors. So don't let people go there. Have your own. Have the ability to give that. And then you know what you do, put this on your website and put this on your realtor's website with a widget that'll give them a real estate report card, a buy versus rent, and give them that AVM compatibility. We do all that for you, by the way, at MBS Highway, but make sure you have a tool that does that and allows you to protect your realtors, allows your realtors to protect themselves from Zillow and the advertisers on Zillow, and doesn't let you put yourself in a position where you do all this hard work and now it becomes easy for somebody to walk on you. And by the way, open houses, don't just do an open house. This is a copy of our open house. Make sure the open house shows the cost of waiting. Make sure it shows the appreciation. These are the things you need. Don't just make it pretty where it's got all the eateries, where it's got everything on there as far as points of interest, the schools. That's all good, but make sure you sell the economics of it. Okay, that's what it's really important. Now, team, look, we take a look at the Fed funds rate here. Fed funds rate today, it's at 0. It's probably going to stay at 0 for a while. But mortgage rates and Fed funds rates, two different things. Okay, if you look at this chart here, it says, well, mortgage rates in red tend to move similarly over time to where we are in the Fed funds rate. Okay, Fed funds rates going down, mortgage rates going down. Yeah, looks so. But no, team, you don't have, in this particular case, 40 years to lock a loan in. You're going to have maybe 40 days. So when you break this down into small periods of time, look what could happen. The Fed and mortgage rates can go in opposite directions. Fed could go down, mortgage rates could go up. They can also move similarly, but many different times. Fed goes up, mortgage rates go down. So many times, if you look at this big drop in Fed funds rate, mortgage rates go up. Big drop, mortgage rates go up. In many periods of time. Look, Fed funds was at 0, mortgage rates were at 5. Then Fed funds go up here, mortgage rates come down. There's not a specific correlation, even with the 10-year Treasury. Anybody says, oh, the spread between the two, they just don't know what they're talking about. Okay, there is no constant spread. It can vary, which means, okay, so if you say the spread varies, how do I use that as a tool? If you want to know what the mortgage market's doing, you got to focus on what mortgage bonds are doing. And that's why when the Fed cuts rates to zero, Megan's created some great scripts for that you should use within Social Studio and MBS Highway, that it doesn't mean that mortgage rates do. With that kind of an explanation, what you're able to do is you can now do it once instead of talking to 15 customers every time there's a Fed meeting and explaining that, I know the Fed funds at zero, or the Fed says they're going to keep rates low, doesn't mean mortgage rates stay low. Don't let your customers sit on the side and say, I'm going to wait. Well, there's a cost for waiting. Now, we've done really well in forecasting interest rates. Okay, so I'm going to tell you where we think interest rates will go. When we made our call on forecasting interest rates a little over a year ago, I made a crazy call. 10-year Treasury was almost at 3%. We told everybody, we said it's going to 1%. Everybody thought it was nuts, okay? And Megan and Dan and I, when we're putting this stuff out there, everybody thought that we were absolutely crazy for doing this. So when we talk about where mortgage rates we're going, sure enough, it did go to 1% on the 10-year Treasury, and mortgage rates followed suit. Now, what we also said was, hey, look, don't pay points if you can. Don't pay closing costs or limit your closing costs, and don't pay upfront MI. So many people are foolishly selling that. Pay the higher payment on monthly MI, all to the extent that you can. Why? Because we told all of you that this refinance boom was coming. And sure enough, now it's here. But those of you that were prepared for it and understood where rates were going, congratulations to you. What I'm telling you now is, believe it or not, once the 10-year hit 1%, we said, and they debated me on Fox, I said it's going to 0.5%. That was at 0.93. It just went under 1%. Everybody said, okay, Barry, you got that one right. Nobody believed you. Where's it going now? I said it's going to 0.5%. And then they wanted to debate me. They said it's impossible. Sure enough, where is it right now, by the way? But it did go to 0.5%. And as it does, we are forecasting now that the 10-year Treasury is going to eventually go towards 0.3%. We think mortgage rates will go lower, but please, not in a straight line, not in a straight line. And then there's another element to this, and that is if unemployment remains persistently high, you have a risk premium that you might pay. This also means that you will give up savings if you say, oh, I'm going to wait for those lower rates. Save the money today, and because it takes a long time. And then if rates really go down, you can refinance again. I mean, that's the nice thing about what you're able to do for your customers. And also, please don't just take the money out and refinance them. Use that money to build for the future. I'm going to show you something in just a minute here that Megan and I were talking about in this morning's update. But I'm telling you, the 10-year Treasury is going to go to 0.3. I know everybody thinks I'm crazy, but it's going to 0.3. If not, it might even go lower. Mortgage rates are going to go down another 25 to 40 basis points from where they are now. So figure 1/4 to 3/8 in rate from where they are now. But remember, not in a straight line. There will be periods where they move up a little bit from here. And guys, gals, listen, you've got more business than you can handle. So don't dick around with loans that just are going to suck your time and fight with customers and refinance. Just ring the cash register as much as possible. I said this during all my speaking engagements over the past couple of years. This is not the time for you to be taking up golf and using it, as something you spend a lot of time. This is a time where you can make enough money to really change your life for the better. This is the time for you to do that. Now, Megan, I want to ask you something here. Do you still see that screen, or can you see the bond pricing again? Can you see that or no?
I see the MBS Highway screen, yes.
Okay. So team, here's what I want you to know. Look, I want to go to our quick tools, and I want to go to the retirement calculator. Now, let's have some fun here. Let's just say you wanted to have an income for yourself of $100,000 for the rest of your life, okay? Now, we'll say your current age, we'll just pick an age and say 40 years old, okay? And your retirement age, say 67. And let's just say you've got $80,000 or $85,000 saved for retirement. And you can get, on average, over the next 27 years, the historical rate of return on the stock market's about 9.5%, 10%. So let's even be a little conservative and say 9%. Now, after retirement, you're going to be more conservative. You'll say a 5% rate of return because you want it to be safer and preserve capital. Here's what it looks like. You need to have $2 million saved to get a $100,000 income, which means today, right now, you got to save $809 a month if you're age 40 and you got $85,000. Now, look, can you do that? Probably. If you're doing really well and you're making a lot of money, you might even say, Barry, I can do that real easy, $800 a month. Well, if you could be real easy for you, let's have some fun here. What if you want a $300,000 a year income for the rest of your life after age 67 without working. Well, you need $6 million. So your current savings would be 870. And if you save 3,600 a month for the 27 years, you gain $5 million, giving you a total of $6 million bucks. $6 million would give you a $300,000 a year income at retirement at age 67 without working for the rest of your life, and you never touch the principal. That means this gets passed on to your heirs. That means this is something that you can give to your kids or whatever. This is how you change your life. Now, for many of you, that's not even one transaction. And if you're doing an abundance of transactions right now, there's an important book you should read. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon. And it really teaches you to pay yourself first. So this is something I want you to focus on for you, because you have this gift right now. You have this amazing opportunity. So I want you to work hard. I want you to work smart. I want you to use the right tools. And yeah, of course, we think if you use MBS Highway, if you listen to people like Megan, and Dan, I think you'll get to your goals even faster. But most importantly, take some of the money you're making now and make sure you put it away. Because if you do things like this, you could change your life for the better in the long run. You don't want to look back and say, man, I wish I would have done that. Pay yourself first, and then take the concept and pass it on to your customer. Let's say you want to give your customer $50,000 a year retirement income, okay? And let's just say they only had maybe $60,000 saved. If you do that, it's $276 a month that have to put away. How many are you doing refinances for people and you're saving them $275 a month or so? That's $9 a day. Now, if they took that $9 a day, what are they going to do with it? They're going to go to Starbucks and blow it? What are they going to get, a sandwich? Instead of doing that, take the $276. They didn't work for it. They didn't plan for it. This is a present. It's a gift. This is just, here you go. All of a sudden, the market changed, and you just happen to be a lottery winner without even buying a lottery ticket for now getting $276 a month. What can you do with it instead of blowing it? Well, go to your financial advisor, or maybe you can recommend one for them, and instead turn this present, turn this gift into a $50,000 a year income for the rest of their life that they would not have had. Now, you might say, okay, 27 years from now, maybe $50,000 doesn't buy you as much. Maybe it feels like $30,000 today, but that's $30,000 more than what they have a year, $2,500 a month, more than what they have. And then they have $1 million to leave to their heirs. Now, if you save them more, if you do some debt consolidation, maybe there's more that you could do. But these are the types of things that you should be looking at as an advisor. Don't be transactional. And that's the main point of what I wanted to drive out here. And Megan, this morning, what did we talk about? The story from Charles Schwab, right? Where they said that people believe they need about $2 million for retirement, and so few people have it. These are the types of things that I really want you to focus on, because you have this amazing opportunity right now. So are there any questions, Megan, that we should stop, or comments, or anything that we want to talk about right here? Just,
there is a great question from Foster. He asked, Barry, I'm tracking with you on supply versus demand with regards to home prices. However, what happens if employment gets much worse and has a significant decline in qualified buyers?
That's a really great question. And the deal with that, Foster, is that when we talk about the availability, what will probably happen first is the home ownership rate will decrease, just like you have in many areas of California. So now, according to the numbers from Black Knight, they say the home ownership rate is like 68%, but that's wrong too. That's BS. No way it could be. And that's because when they did their sampling, they normally get 80% respondents. They got 65% respondents. So they blew it on that one. There's no way, because when you do the math, you would have had to have 4 million homes sold in the second quarter. It was only 1.5 million homes sold. So they're wrong. And they just don't think about math. People don't get math. So it's really closer to about 66% home ownership rate. But in California, it's closer to 50%. Why? Because prices are very high, so you have less qualified buyers. But you just have sheer numbers of population that make up for it. And those most affected by unemployment are those that are typically renters. Now, this does have a drag, and it does have an effect on the purchase market, so you're 100% right. What the deal is here is, listen, if we can get past this within a year and come up with either really good therapeutics for COVID, get back to work, or come up with really good vaccine, which would even be better, then it's a pothole that we get through, but we're fine. But a persistent drag, yes, you're right, it could be meaningful depending on how bad it is and how prolonged it is and how pernicious it is. If we were able to, let's say in a year, kind of get through this, you're going to see this housing market really roll because there's just too many people and not enough homes. And remember, people not going back to work means that less homes are being built. So that keeps the supply and demand ratios there. So I get your point, but right now there's too many tailwinds for housing and the headwinds are being overcome by the tailwinds. So it's not that your points aren't valid, they are, but the good stuff is just trumping it, that's all.
Yes, great point. And also just really quickly before you go back to the slides, we have a lot of happy MBS Highway subscribers already on here. Can you just quickly show them where that retirement calculator is?
So if you go to any page on MBS Highway, you have our quick tools and you've got all kinds of stuff, investment calculators, so you can kind of work with your financial planner. You've got calculators here for, even if you want to just do quick mortgage payment. Everybody says they love ours because ours is just so freaking easy, and then you can do an amortization schedule and show the power of it. By the way, if you quote a rate and not show an amortization schedule, you're missing the boat, because when you do that, you show the impact of, hey, if you make an extra payment, how you skip down the amortization schedule. Okay, people don't understand how this works. Always use that. And then the other one is the retirement calculator that you have here that I just showed. So easy. We try and make it easy, and we know you're busy. We don't want you to we don't want to put another brick in your backpack. So this is what you should do. And the other thing we got to talk about just for a second here is certified mortgage advisor. By the way, guys, look at this 10-year treasury going right back down to 50 basis points. Just incredible. I want to show you this real quick. I'm sorry I'm jumping around here, but this is an important development. We have now broken, and if we can hold this through the end of the day, break under this support level of 0.54, man, we're going to head lower. We're going to head lower on the 10-year. That's going to drag mortgage-backed securities lower, maybe not in lockstep. Certainly there's not a normal spread, but you will get a directional move that will be lower in yield, higher in price on mortgage bonds. So today is a very important day. And fortunately, we've been floating through this whole thing to take advantage of it. So we're going to say, hey, remain floating unless we see a turnaround here. Things look really, really good. And I feel that mortgage-backed securities in this particular case will continue to do very, very well. So what I want us to try and do, team, is I want us to try and remind our customers that getting the best rate on the wrong strategy is much more expensive than getting a competitive rate on the right game plan and strategy. And I want to see if I could just show my webcam because I want to kind of get back with you here. So let me see if I can do that here and just show it. Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, good. The webcam's got to be reset up and calibrated. I look a little blue. I'm not Smurfy, but when the power went out here, like everything kind of went to crap. But anyway, you got what you got here. I'm sorry. So anyway, team, the deal is this: is that for what I've learned over 30 years, I can't believe I'm saying that. Yeah, I'm admitting to over 30 years in the mortgage industry and things that I've learned and studied. And if you kind of heard some of the stuff or seen some of the stuff that we've done, we got to go deep on the financial markets. And if you really wanted that power, if you really wanted to be able to read these Japanese candlesticks and be able to do your stock trades or understand what the Fed breakdown is or how the bond market works, where mortgage money comes from, all this stuff, we put together certified mortgage advisor curriculum. It's not ready just yet, but it'll be ready next month. It is one of the most proud moments in my entire career. That includes writing a book and creating several companies and doing several different things between entertainment and whatnot. I'm really proud because I think this is going to change the mortgage industry. I think it will do something for the mortgage industry that will elevate the level of those originators, and more importantly, it'll totally separate the pack. Right now, there's a lot of people that think they're wizards. They're doing all kinds of business because they think they're great. They think, oh, I'm a great marketer. I'm great. No, you've been handed a gift, okay? You woke up on third base and you thought you hit a triple. No, sorry, you didn't hit a triple. This is a present for you. If you're not doing unbelievable, then there's an issue, okay? So the standard is unbelievable right now. But what happens if we go back to where we were 18 months ago when people were leaving the business? What happens if we go back to 18 months ago when rates were a little bit higher? What happens now when all the loans that you're doing are less than 3.5%? What happens if rates go to 3 3/4? 3 3/4, which would have been the lowest rates in history 4 months ago, would have been the lowest rate in history 3 months ago. What happens if we go back to where the lowest rates in the history of the world were 3 months ago? and that means nobody's refinancing. What are you going to do? You have to think about that, right? You cannot live in this bubble here. You got to work hard, you got to do it, you got to pay attention here. But real winners think long-term. And the long-term solution is to really understand how to beat your competition. How are you going to beat Quicken? Quicken's got all kinds of public money now. How are you going to beat them? You know, headset jockeys shouldn't be beating you. So you've got to protect yourself. So the certified mortgage advisor is the way to go, because this is all about conversation to application. And if you give somebody that right strategy, what's going to happen is that they're going to tell everybody about you, because you don't even need the lowest rate. You just need the best plan and strategy. And then for your own personal wealth, do you know how to evaluate your own investments? Do you know what a callable bond means and how that could be something where a financial advisor who doesn't even know shit is going to give you bad advice? You know how many people I've schooled that tried to say, oh, put it in this portfolio. I said, well, what about this? What about the duration? And then their head's spinning. They don't even know, because they're all salespeople and they don't get it. I want you to be that person that schools these individuals, that nobody could pull the wool over your eyes. So that's why we created this program. It's called Certified Mortgage Advisor. I'm more excited about this than I've been about just about anything I've done in my career, because I truly believe it's going to change the trajectory of the mortgage industry, and it's going to increase the professionalism. So please be on the lookout. If you want any information on that, just email Megan at MBS Highway. And as it comes out, you'll be on her teaser list, that as stuff comes out, she'll start to send it to you. So sorry for that tangent, but as you can tell, I'm really excited and passionate about this, guys. And look, it's not because we're doing it because we're trying to sell you something, team. It's not. I'm way past those days. Okay, we've been very blessed, but I really believe that if we want to keep this industry, which I love, viewed very professionally and really make a difference to people's lives to give us fulfillment, that's what we need. Look, you can have goals that really are great success goals, and we all should, right? But there's a lot of unhappy people that hit success goals that don't have fulfillment in their life. You know, all the names of all the famous people it looks like they have everything. So why are they unhappy? It's because they don't have fulfillment. And what fulfillment comes from is helping others and doing good by others. And the chance that you have when you look at every single loan app that you're doing as a chance to help those people and change their lives for the better, not just by giving them a lower rate, not just by saving them $9 a day, but really changing their lives, really giving them advice that nobody else knows. That gives you fulfillment. That prevents you from getting burned out. And then the money, you can't help the money to come. The money just follows you. People will throw money at you if you change their lives for the better. Just bear that in mind as we enter the next phase. I'm not thinking about this phase. This phase is great. What's the next phase? What's the next chapter? Remember, see beyond the headlights. The winners always look ahead and think about the best chess players in the world. Are they looking about this chess move, or are they saying, what is 4 moves down going to be? This is what we're trying to look at right now. What's the next move look like? What I'm telling you is the next move is going to have some challenges, but today is the way to plan to win tomorrow. Play for today so that you know that no matter what gets thrown at you and your family, doesn't matter. You're going to win no matter what gets thrown at you, because you position yourself to be better than everybody else. So as we look at some of this stuff, please bear that in mind. And one of the things we like to do is tell you how to do the right refinance tools, right? I mean, how to do a refinance correctly. People don't understand it. You know, if you did a year and a half ago, you did a loan, it was $500,000, the loan amount was $400,000, and you could refinance and save them $337 a month today. In a 15-year, you're going to save even more money, but it's going to cost you $620 a month more. My question for you is, if the closing costs are $33.70 and you're saving them $337 a month, when are they going to break even? So that's my question to you. When are they going to break even? And the answer is, it's taught incorrectly. If you look at the textbook, here's what the textbook says. Take their closing costs divided by the monthly savings. That's how long it takes to break even. That's wrong. So in that particular case, here, let's go back. If I told you the closing costs were $33.70 and you're going to save $337 a month, almost all of your competitors are going to say, oh, it's 10 months to break even. Wrong. I know that that's the way that we're taught in the textbooks, but it's monthly payment's not a cost. You see, monthly payment includes principal, and that's not a cost. The component of monthly payment that you want to take a look at is interest. In fact, let me just show you this live. Here, let's go to Loan Advisor. Let's do a refinance comparison. And then I want to just show you what this looks like so you could do this on your own. So somebody who's in the mid 4s, let's give them a 3.5%, 30-year with 0 points. I just have a demo here just to be respectful of your time. Then I threw a no closing cost loan and a 15-year conventional in. Now we talked about, in this particular case, closing costs are $3,200, and let's say we're going to save them $320 a month. Everybody's going to say 10 months to break even. No, because if you look at the interest difference from 1583 to 1145 on that 30-year at 3.5%, the interest savings is $439 a month, not $322. The interest is a much greater savings. So it only takes you to break even, how many months? 7 months to break even. It only takes 7 months to break even, not 10 months. And when you start talking like this, you beat your competitor. Now look, let's just say it was a 15-year. If it was a 15-year, it takes 5 months to break even though the payment's higher. The payment on the 15-year, that's going to be 15-year at 3%. Your payment's going to be $643 a month more. So how do you divide that into the closing cost? That's a negative $643. But because you're saving $631 a month, you take closing costs divided by your savings, it's 5 months to break even. Now, one more thing to show you here. Let's just say you're trying to do a loan and somebody's got a no closing cost loan. And that no closing cost loan, they're beating you on the no closing cost loan. Instead of losing the loan, because maybe you got to pony up for a no closing cost loan today. Believe me, look, I love no closing cost loans. I'm the one who brought them to the mortgage industry back in, yes, I'm going to say this, back in 1990 when I started going on TV. And then when I had my own show on CNBC, nobody knew how to do them. And I was explaining about the no closing cost loans and how to do them. And then it became ubiquitous throughout the 90s. What happens is that sometimes today you got to pony up for those because the buy up to get the yields, to get that yield premium, you got to pay a much higher rate sometimes, and maybe somebody's going to beat you on that. In order for you to compete, show them, yes, it's true, the no closing cost is better, but how long is it better for? It's only better for 16 months. Mr. Miss Client, if you're going to be in this home longer than 16 months with this mortgage, you should come with me and pay the closing costs and pay that 3.5% rate instead of the no closing cost rate. These are the things you want to show. And then, by the way, team, do you have somebody right now that says, well, I'm going to wait to do the refinance. I'm going to wait to do it because I think rates are going to go lower. Well, they might be right, but what about the savings you're giving up today? Well, here's the thing. It depends on how long they're going to wait. If they wait 3 months, you can tell them. If they wait 4 or 5 months, let's say they're going to wait 5 months, and they're right. They're right. Rates are going to go down between now and the end of the year, and they're going to get the lower rate. Well, in this case, they're going to save. They would have saved $1,610 if they would have refinanced with you today. If they do this and they save that eighth in rate, it's going to take them almost 4 years for that incremental benefit to break even. Do you really want to risk it? It's very risky. Now, how about this? You're doing somebody's refinance today, and then you locked them in, but rates drop. You're ready to close them, but they're going to walk on you. They're going to walk from the closing because they're going to reapply, start from scratch, go with somebody else. It might take them, based upon how slow it is right now, to get stuff processed, 60, 90 days to get their deal done. So what if you waited another 3 months to do that? Let me show you what you would lose. It's going to take you 2.5 years to break even if they close you. 2.5 years. Are you really going to risk that? So this is a great tool for you to keep people in hand. These are the types of things that you want to be able to utilize. So I know we're kind of winding down here. We've only got a few minutes left. So any quick questions, any quick comments, anything like that, and we'll just kind of end with that right now, team.
So first of all, Barry, can I just say that you are a breath of fresh air with your thoughts on elevating our industry, which is exactly what we need to do, need to continue to do, what has been happening. And so we will be 100% behind you on the Certified Mortgage Advisor. It's a great, great thing. So we're excited about that. I think people are wondering, do we lock before the jobs report, or do we just watch each day?
All right.
And
well,
also, we also have a question about jumbo rates in the jumbo market. So if you have any comments on that quickly, that'd be great.
Okay, so let's try and address those one at a time. So, oh wow, I got dark over here, right? Come on, what happened to my camera? Hey, look at this. Okay. All right. So one at a time. With regards to the jumbo rates, we'll work backwards. So listen, jumbo lenders, I think they'll start to come back. The big hang up there is the unemployment rate. So when we get the jobs report Friday, let's see what the unemployment rate does. I think the jobs report, they're full of shit, okay? It is nowhere near 10%. It's much higher than that. but jobs will start coming back. Really, a lot depends on this virus. Eventually, it's going to come back, and eventually, jumbo rates will come back. We're going to go through this period of time. We just got to deal with it. Okay, we just got to get through this period. Anything like this on jumbos and paying the higher rate. Here's the thing you got to remember. The way I'd sell it to the customer if there's a higher rate is this: Mr. and Mrs. Customer, in a year from now, values will be much higher. So if you don't take the higher rate now, deal with it, because you could refinance it in a year from now and you'll get your cake and eat it too. You can't say, I'll wait, because a year from now, you're going to pay a much higher amount for that home. So, okay, you get the lower rate, but on a higher loan amount or a more expensive home. Today, you pay a little higher rate, you deal with it for 6 months or a year until the unemployment rate starts coming down, until we get it fixed for this corona. And then when that happens, you refinance to the lower rate. That's the jumbo story, okay? With regards to the jobs report, I think that the stock market at this point in time is overextended and is looking for a reason to sell off. I don't know what the numbers are going to be. I know that the numbers that we're seeing are saying persistently high levels of initial jobless claims. I think that nobody's talking about this pandemic unemployment assistance of 14 million people that are on it. I know Congress is going to jerk around on this. They have until the 7th. So that's Friday as well to hopefully come up with a fix for a lot of these people. But I do think that for right now, what we should be doing is we should be floating into the jobs report. For now, watch tomorrow morning's update, right? Thursday morning. Today's Tuesday. I'm losing track of the days. Watch Thursday's morning's update, and we'll give you an up to the minute, because I want to see what the ADP report comes out tomorrow, and I want to see what initial jobless claims do on Thursday. And then we'll tell you Thursday morning what we think. But if you were to ask me today, I'd be floating into that jobs report right now.
Wow, that is a bold prediction. Good for you. All right, so we are at the top of the hour. Megan, do you have anything else to add before we wind this up?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you guys. I look forward to seeing you Thursday. Thanks for hanging in there. And remember, you guys do get a discount off of MBS Highway being a camp member. And if you are interested in signing up or learning more, remember you can reach out to me. It's just Megan, MEGAN, at MBShighway.com.
Megan, can you still see my screen?
Show this to you.
Megan, can you still see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right, here it is. So here's the discount you get if you went on our site. This is the prices. You can go on MBS Highway right now. These are the prices that people pay. Camp gets a huge discount. So you could just hit Megan at MBS Highway. It's MEGAN, one of the top, most influential women in the mortgage industry, and you can deal right with her.
That's great. I think we have that on our website too.
Yeah, I just want to say, I know a lot of you had specific questions on MBS Highway that we didn't get to. So if you want to email me those questions, we'll get them answered for you as well.
Well, and then remember, we have Megan on Thursday, and I believe that she agreed that she'd cover some of those questions and cover some of the MBS Highway website on that program. So if you are interested, the link is up. We are sending out the emails. It's on social media. So sign up for Thursday with Megan at 11. Don't forget Dave Luna next Tuesday at 11. And as always, thank you so much, guys, for everything that you do for the industry, for us. We really so appreciate it. Megan Jackson, appreciate you. And
just say goodbye. So first of all, I love David Luna, one of my favorite people. And Audrey, thank you for all you do. And listen, team, you know what? Camp has been so good to me for like 30 years. Okay, so you guys have treated me like family always. So I just want to tell you how much I appreciate it. God bless you. Love you guys. So many of you that are on this, I know are friends of mine. So I wish I could see and hug you in person, but that day will come too. But thank you.
God, please. Yes, thank you. And with that, we will call it a day. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you Thursday at 11. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.